Just when the Barclays Premier League couldn't get more exciting. What a three-horse. Shall I add Man United in there? No. When we're having a three-horse race and we could see three teams dominating for years to come. Along pop the richest consortium in the world and take over Newcastle. Let's get into it. Welcome to Khanage. Welcome back to another episode of Carnage, people. Sorry about the slight delay, but we had a celebrity who was getting interviewed by Five Live and Sky Sports, and you know what, But I'm so glad she still made time for us. Kendall, you must be the happiest human being tonight. Welcome to Carnage.
No, thank you for having me. Not expected. This day has just gone from like here to absolute here within a few hours. I still don't know what I think. I'm almost like half sure that I'm going to go to sleep and wake up and I'm just going to be back to where I was yesterday, because it's mad, absolutely mad.
It is, and we're gonna get into it. Not only your aspect, but we're gonna get other clubs' aspects. Of course, Big Steve was scheduled. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but my other partner didn't let me down. Tobs, thank you very much for coming on again, brother. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Although I don't know why I'm good, because Newcastle have literally hit the belly. Like, they've hit the flipping belly, man. Oh God,
it's a madness, isn't it? We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it very soon. Of course, I always leave him to last because people say no, it's not the most. You're the bestest in the world. So
the bestest,
the bestest.
You're the bestest, man. Avi from California, what's happening?
Yeah, good, Grizz, good. What great news! Well, International Week, for 2 weeks, and this news is just obliterated football again. So yeah, it's great news all around. So yeah, we've got lots to discuss.
We have. But before we discuss it all, as you guys know by now, we got a sponsor on the show, baby. And I got to give a shout out to www.eliteme.com. You know what? Covers all your CBD needs. You lot know, like literally know how it's been affecting me. Like, look how healthy I'm looking. Look how fresh I'm looking. It's all down to the CBD, people. It's all down to the CBD. So go out on their website, check them out. If you type in, Avi, what do we type in?
It's LFC 10 at the checkout. You get 10% off on all CBD products on, again, www.eliteme.com.
Toby, tell me you've checked out CBD and you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I know about CBD. It's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Check.
I've had the gum. I've had the gum, not the other stuff. But yeah.
You're messing with the wrong brand. So afterwards, I'm going to pass you the details. This is the brand you need to come on. This Elite Me for a reason. They're elite. They've got elite in their name for a reason.
They've just to add, they've also launched their bath bombs as well. So CBD bath bombs, which are pretty great as well. So
okay.
Tobs, I think we need to have a word about gummies and stuff. So that's after the show.
Okay. But listen. So go and check out our people at www.eliteme.com for all your CBD needs. Wow. So look, this show is going to be a roundup, a Premier League roundup, see where we are with our respective clubs, I should say, sorry. And, talk about some transfers, how they've been, how we perceive them. But there's only one place to start, isn't it? If we've got to start at the Newcastle, yeah, it's soon to be called St. Riyadh Park, bro. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Listen, Kendall, talk us through your day, because I think it was last night when it came through that it's actually happening. We know they tried. Was it last season?
Yeah, last season.
They tried last season, and then blue tape got in the way. Whatever. But I think, to all purposes, it was kind of done last night. We knew the announcement was going to come today. You must have felt like a kid waking up at Christmas, right? Talk us through your day and emotions.
You know what, though? I didn't, because again, I was so almost sure the way that we'd been let down in the past, like several times, it wasn't going to happen. I thought, right, we'll wake up today and it'll be like, sorry, something's happened. You can't. It's not going ahead again, and that's it. And I was really expecting it, and I didn't even dare go to sleep last night, right? Because I thought, if I go to sleep, it'll not happen. Honestly, I was being so weird last night. Total fear of missing out. Then obviously today we woke up to the news that it was basically imminent. And there were so many journalists who had been so negative last year, who were saying, this is never happening. Don't get your hopes up. It's never happening. Simple as that. Who yesterday were like, you know what? We're actually 99% sure this takeover is going to go through the next few days. So that's when I kind of knew, okay, this actually might be happening this time. And still, as the day was dragging on, I was like, right, something's going to come up now where Amnesty International had put, an opposition in. And I thought, something's going to happen where it's just not going to go through again. There's going to be a hitch. And actually, very nicely, I've been at the ground all day till 3:00, filming for other things. And then I came home to have my family dinner, which was arranged weeks ago. So I was with my dad, my two brothers, and my daughter when the news broke that it had actually happened, which was perfect. Literally so perfect. And I took a picture because I was like, I actually don't know if this is real. I don't know if it's actually real. But to see so many people, because this has been 4 years in the making now, it's nearly actually almost 4 years to the day that Rafa invited Amanda Staveley to the club to watch Liverpool versus Newcastle, funnily enough. Newcastle v Liverpool at St James's Park. And so it's been 4 years now. We've been let down so much in that time about it. I was almost like, oh God, it's still not happening. But yeah, it's happened. It's done. We're now the richest club in Europe, probably in the world. Is so
in the world.
In the world.
Which is insane.
Mind blowing.
Steve Bruce is a manager of the richest club in the world. Can we just
say no more?
That for a minute? Can we just accept that for a minute? But yeah, absolutely mad.
Do you know, Avi, she makes a good point about the nervousness and sort of the apprehension to celebrate too early, because it's a club that's been so let down so many times, hasn't it? And so we kind of feel her, not pain, but sort of nervousness.
It's been pain. It's been pain.
No, it's been painful, but sort of every time it's about to happen, you just naturally think, something's going to mess up here.
Grizz, her excitement, and it's great to see as well, Kendall. It reminds me of when Purslow and Broughton were coming out of the court case, Grizz, and they finally conceded that, look, FSG and Nesby at the time have brought out Hicks and Gillette. So I can understand that. And it's always with Newcastle, I tell you what it is, they've always been sort of everyone's sort of second soft spot team. Everyone sort of, since Keegan days, obviously the Liverpool affiliation with Terry Mack and whatnot, but it's always been stop-start, and they've never found it. They've never found the right owners. I mean, Freddie Shepherd and John Hall, Kendall, remember, and even your dad and family, they weren't the greatest of owners. They would spend money, but I didn't think they were the greatest of owners towards the end. Then they got stuck with, Sports Direct, Mike Ashley, and, it started off kind of okay, but then obviously it just, died down, and he was just an absolute pleb. And now, you just hope for them that this is a start of a new sort of revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it.
All of that.
They have 50,000+ fans, and I tell you what, I've been to St James's Park, and they're the most passionate, most loyal, the friendliest set of fan base in the country. 100%. There's no doubt about it. They're a great bunch. Great night out in Newcastle as well. Hint, hint. But it's great. It's great for them. It's great for the club, and I'm sure Tobs got a few words to say, because I know he will want Joe Lewis out as well.
Well, no, I was gonna segue into Toby, and sort of, I guess it's difficult to take in from other clubs in and around sort of that big six, top 6, 8, whatever. And I guess you're one of those clubs that have had many issues with your owners, and kind of you've seen the situation with the ownership at Newcastle as well.
Mm.
Do you see any parallels? Because I know what you think of the ownership and everything at your club. How do you feel? Like when you hear the news, are you happy for Newcastle fans because of the pain they've gone through? Because you know about pain, brother. All right. So
Yeah.
so then are you envious, like mad envious, like they're just gonna leave us?
A mix of all, to be honest. First and foremost, I'm actually, believe it or not, I may be like a grumpy guy on the big six at times, more often than not because of Spurs. But I'm actually happy for Newcastle, man. I'm happy for Newcastle. It's been like 10 years now since we've been hearing they're going to be taken over by this club. Mike Ashley's had this club put up for sale for years now. Like he's been trying to sell the club for years. So for them to not only find someone to step into Mike Ashley's shoes and finally rid themselves of a horrible owner, because he was a horrible owner, man. Like the guy would rarely spend unless he absolutely had to. They've only gone and bagged themselves like the richest public investment fund on the planet, bro. Like not only have you cashed in, you've cashed in big.
Not only have you got rid, right? Because that's the first part of the celebration, right, Kendall? Because you've got rid of the most horrible owner in recent history, or probably, I don't know. Tell us in your history. You probably know far more. Not only, as Tobs says, you've got rid of that. In return, you haven't got a normal new owner. Like, okay, we've got rid of him. We can slowly look forward now. You've gone and got, as he says, the richest people on planet Earth.
It's nuts.
It's
crazy.
Mad. Like,
it's crazy.
No, like good things don't happen to us like this. I can't explain it. I can't tell you this. Things like this don't happen to Newcastle. Like, honestly, we have just had so much crap the last 10. Well, he's owned the club for nearly 15 years now. So we've had so much absolute rubbish from that. Steve McLaren, Steve Bruce, Sam Allardyce, Alan Pardew, just to name a few managers. Like Jeff Hendrick in our midfield right now, Joe Linton. Oh God, like, we've had so much bad stuff. Mike Ashley's been taken to court by Kevin Keegan and got pulled up for lying in court in public.
Oh yes.
He let go of Jonas Gutierrez, who literally got diagnosed with cancer and terminated his contract when he got diagnosed with cancer.
That was very nasty.
Shocking, wasn't it?
After he just scored the goal to keep us up as well against West Ham.
Grizz, Mike Ashley fleeced us for 35 million for Carroll. So of course he's a mongrel. That's what he was. He fleeced us.
I'm sure it was about 30 odd million for Sissoko as well, Tobs.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Highway robbery. And don't you remember when you tried to? I remember this because you lot revolted hard when you tried to change your name to the Sports Direct Arena.
Direct Stadium Arena.
Yeah. Just say
shocking.
Like we've missed out on so many sponsorship things because he's used it as a free ride for Sports Direct for so long. He had Sports Direct painted on the roof of the Gallagher end of Newcastle, like of St James's Park, which is like, you know, like every stadium has like the cop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Literally on the Gallagher end of Newcastle, he had Sports Direct painted on the roof. Why?
Absolutely shocking. Listen,
like who is seeing that? Who is actually seeing that? Unless you're on a plane.
We've got a super chat from Big Steve himself, who was scheduled to come on, but I think he got jealous when he found out that, you know, they've got a rival now, but he pretended he left his laptop at home. But a generous super chat from Big Steve, because trust me, he's like getting blood out of stone money from him. Gone from everyone's favorite second favorite team to the most hated overnight. Welcome to the club. No history, small club, blah blah blah. Jealousy, enjoy it. So he's, you know, you've got a fan in Big Steve. Listen, thank you very much, Steve. Man, we catch up real soon, my brother. Avi, some of those names she's mentioned in terms of managers and players and recent history, and look, let's not get it twisted. As Tobes says, they've got a huge loyal fan base and everything. What happens now? Like where? I think it's limitless, right? Like not overnight, not straight away, but the world's their ocean, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said blue tape, but it's actually red tape, Grizz. So just to correct you, they got through the red tape.
Okay, well, listen, that was 10 minutes ago. You didn't have to bring that up, but you've done it because that's what you do.
You always grill me, so it's your turn. It's your time.
Okay, no problem. I said blue tape, I remember, but it's all, maybe I'm thinking about Big Steve and blue and all that,
Just on that, Amanda Staveley obviously had links with Liverpool as well previously, in previous years, because they wanted to invest in Liverpool. I think it was DIC at the time, with another sheikh from Dubai. But that she's from what we know, she's a smart businesswoman. She's very shrewd. You imagine that they already have people in place in terms of, directorship, chief executives, people on the executive board, all in place. And you would think in January they'll test the waters. I think that's what it is. They will test the waters 100%. They might make some silly bids, just like City did when Mansour took over. They sort of started off with January just like absolutely trying to make silly bids for the Berbatovs, for the Torreses when he was at Liverpool, but then obviously they didn't come off. So I think Newcastle will probably spend a little. I don't think they'll go mad in January, but they'll assess the situation. I can see Steve Bruce going within maybe a month or so. I think they might give him time just to make sure, just for for them to come in, just to make sure they're comfortable and they get their sort of footing in the club. And then I think you'll see a change in manager before January, and then they'll probably target next summer.
Right? That's the first step.
Yeah, he's out of his depth at that
Toby,
point.
Toby. He becomes automatic favorite for gone, right?
100%. I think
he ain't surviving this, right?
Yeah, no way. I think that was one of the downfalls of them having such a bad owner before, that he didn't really care about the football matters. Because if you look at the football matters, then you know that there are better managers out there than Steve Bruce. I hear what Abby's saying with them maybe like not being able to get the right players in initially, but I think they can actually nail this, man. I think they can nail this a lot quicker than a lot of people think if they put the right people in charge at their club. Like, for me, that's the most important thing now. Like, they got the money, so they can pretty much buy whoever they need to within reason. And when I say within reason, I mean as in, like, obviously they're Newcastle now. You can't just go out and buy like a player who's aspiring to play for Chelsea, etc., Champions League players, etc. But they can buy some top quality there to come and improve this team. But first and foremost, get the manager right, get the backroom team right, get the recruitment team right, get proper footballing people behind the scenes. And if you can do that, honestly, their task can be accelerated. Like, they can. I don't know about success, because there's a lot of top teams in the league that are vying for one competition, one main prize, which is the Premier League, obviously. But their pathway to getting near that level can be accelerated for sure.
Grizz, just on that as well, just on Tobs, what you're saying, Newcastle's always been, forget about the Ashley era, but even before that, they've always been an attractive proposition for players. We saw the likes of Faustino Asprilla come in January, the likes of Shearer, the Les Ferdinands, and then recent times you saw that sort of Craig Bellamy who came, Lauren Robert. They've always had players with David Ginola. So they will attract top players because of the stadium.
Like 20 years ago, though, Abby.
Because of the fan base. Hey, listen, 20 years ago, we were still about in it, Tobs. Come on, innit? But they will attract players because of their fan base. They've got passionate bunch. And when you've got a passionate bunch like the Geordies at St. James's Park, 53 rocking, players will want to play for that, even if they're without European football for like a season or so, or obviously next season that you don't imagine them finishing in the top 6 or top 8, but they will attract players, top players. And look, they're going to pay stupid wages now, isn't it, Grizz? It's going to be silly season. Yeah, money talks, unfortunately, in football now.
But we talk about the manager, and look, every new regime, every new ownership looks to bring in a new manager. But I think Kev O'Sullivan reminds us that you're 19th, isn't it? Well, I don't know how many points you're on exactly, but he says 3 points. 3 points. So regardless of new ownership, whatever, I'm sure Steve Bruce was on tender hooks, right? Like literally on his last lifeline anyway. So this will probably just accelerate that sacking, probably, Kendall.
Hopefully. That's all I'm gonna say. Hopefully. There's totally Kev's right. Like, you can't look at that. The richest people in the world, not the richest people in the world, but the richest club in the world, which we are now, there's just no way you can look at that and think, you know what, that's all right. We'll just keep Steve Bruce. There's just no way. They've got to be thinking long term from this point onwards. And right now, realistically, if any manager is going to come in during the season, you need it in an international break, because it just gives you that little bit of extra leverage for the manager to work with the squad. Not many of our players are out on international duty at the moment, so like, because we're not like that level of squad. Like, there's a couple, you know, like the Almirons, things like that. A couple of them are out, but it's going to be a perfect time to get a new manager in and start and immediately like showing the rest of the league that you're actually serious about this, which is another thing that I think is massive, because like it's going to be a long-term project, but you need to be like instant, like you need to be on it straight away to show how serious you are about it. And there's so many amazing managers. I know we're not at this point when everyone's like, oh, Conte, right, that's fair enough. And I don't think that's impossible, but right now I think it's unlikely, because a 19th place Premier League club is not going to get Antonio Conte, regardless of how much money you've got, regardless of anything. Look at that squad we've got now and just literally sell that to him right now. It's just not happening. You're only going to get the likes of him in January, for example, when you've got the funds and you can spend a bit of money and he can have control over it, because right now he has no control. He's got Jeff Hendrick in midfield. Like, this is what I mean. It's just not going to happen. So I think at the moment it's just going to be interim for the next few months. I think Abby's right. It's just going to be looking at a case of just keeping us afloat at the moment.
Just coming into that, Kendall, would you take, dare I say it, would you take Steven Gerrard?
I would take Steven Gerrard, absolutely, yeah. I would, 100%. I think he's at top of the list now, I think, actually.
I was going to say, because Ghost makes a point here, and I was going to come to Avi anyway, before he interrupted. Bruce is the new Mark Hughes. He will get more time until they find a suitable candidate. I think what he's referring to, correct me if I'm wrong, Avi, you might know more, is when City got taken over. Is he referring to that period?
When Robinho came in, Mark Hughes was in charge, yeah.
Right, but obviously it's a total different scenario, as Kendall's explained to us, with regards to their manager, where they are and where Hughes and City were. I don't remember. I don't know if Steve's still in the chat or Laura Duffy will tell us, where was City when they got taken over in terms of where they were in the league and whatnot. I think it was a totally different scenario.
City's was weird because they had Takshin Shinawatra, who was in charge for like a few months.
Yeah.
And then because he was involved in some dodgy stuff, and then they got taken over quite quickly by Sheikh Mansour, and then they had Hughes. They did give Hughes time because Hughes still had a bit of a ceiling at the time as well, Grizz. And then I think they were, floundering around 9th or 10th. And then obviously they, gave him time, but then, they realized quickly that he wasn't the man to take him forward, especially with the money that they was like sort of throwing around.
Yeah. Suggestions of Stevie G, like Sam Thandi says, I think for Gerrard, he shouldn't go Newcastle because the start of the process won't be easy. Getting lots of new players, etc., will take time. Tobs, what kind of manager do you go for then? Like, what do you think? How does this work now? Because do they go for an experienced type manager? Do they go for someone to stop them from getting relegated and then build? Or do they go for someone fresh and young like Steven Gerrard? What would you think the strategy would be?
Me personally, I would, if I was them, I'd be looking for someone with experience, man. Someone with experience who can play the way you want to play. But I realize that because of the position Newcastle are in now, the managers with that level of experience and quality may not want to come to Newcastle despite their newfound money. But yeah, if it was down to me, I think they should be going for experience, man. You need a manager who's been around the block and has experience in terms of like identifying big money players that he can buy, integrating players into a squad, and literally just elevating a team. I like Steven Gerrard. I like the work he's doing at Rangers, but I feel like it might be a bit too much too soon. Do you get what I'm saying? I think he might need to.
How's this for a shout from Georgie Foot?
It won't happen, Grizz.
How is that for a shout though?
I tell you what, if they want to bring on Wenger as an advisory role on the board, like an advisory role, that wouldn't be too bad. That's not a bad shot as an advisory role, not as a full-time manager.
Not as a manager. I think I agree with you in terms of like, I think he's been out of management for so long. I just don't know if he'll just slot straight back in. I just don't think he would, because he's a lot more like analytical. So I think like he would come in and be like a tactical person, like where he'd come in and he would analyze everything about it. Like as you say, an advisory role. I would be all for that.
Yeah.
The thing about the managers, they had Rafa, and they were waiting on Rafa. They were waiting on this takeover to be done, and Rafa was just going to slot back into the job. And unfortunately, it's took that long. He's now, on pastures new with Everton. So Rafa would have been perfect because he knew the club, the players loved him, the fans loved him. He would have just been ideal just to come straight back, and obviously it's just not happened. Graham Potter, I just don't understand why at this point Graham Potter would come, because he's probably not going to be a long-term 5-year manager. I just don't see that happening, because when you get money, you want the
best
big
of the
names. You want the
best.
Conte, you
Absolutely.
want the Zidans, you want things like that. So I just don't see Graham Potter being like a long-term thing. And why would he leave Brighton currently in the position that they're in to come to a 19th place Newcastle that aren't safe at this point in time? We're not safe. There's just not really any reason why Graham Potter would come in. I can see a Lampard coming in.
Grizz, can I come in with a hot take? Sorry, Kendall. I usually have one hot take per show, and I want to give Grizz this hot take. What about Raf? What's his name? That Hassan Hutel fella at Southampton.
That's
like
interesting shout. Interesting shout. But isn't he struggling? Not
Yeah.
struggling. He's not
He's
struggling, but you know
it.
what I mean. He's kind of at Southampton lower to mid table right now. Is he the man? Because look, I think what Newcastle need initially is a pragmatic coach. Now I know they're not going to like the sound of that, but I think it's vital, very, very vital that they stay up. I mean, that is first objective
100%.
mission. Forget all your money and signings and marquees. They've got to stay up. Because I tell you what, it will be an absolute disaster, because that will just put them back 2 years straight away. And the Saudis won't be happy with that. So I think the first task for any coach incoming would be to stay up. Now, when you analyze that, then you need someone who's got experience of
Hodgson, Pardew,
No,
Fat
man.
Sam,
Nah,
Big
nah,
Sam.
nah, nah,
I want,
nah, nah.
if we can, I want to stay away from that level of manager.
Yeah,
I
of
want
course,
to
of course,
stay away from the Pardews. I want to stay away from the Big Sams. I want to stay away from the Steve Bruces, Tony Pulis's, Marcus. I want to stay away from that because that's just not worked for us. As I've said in the past, we've had Steve McLaren, who we got relegated with, Alan Pardew, who we got relegated with. Well, Rafa Benitez, I know that wasn't his fault though. That was Steve McLaren's fault. The Steve Bruce, who we're now 19th with, I want to stay away from that. Another person who would have been perfect would have been Jose, because he loves the club anyway. So he would have been ideal. But again, because it's took that long, everyone's moved on who probably initially would have been the targets. So he's gone to Roma, so he's moved on. So it's just like I honestly don't know who would come in at this point. Maybe Eddie Howe. I just don't know.
You know who I think would be good for you lot as well, and he may not be like as pragmatic, but I think he plays positive football, and I think he can steer you to safety. Lucien Favre, I think he would be a good appointment for Newcastle. Grizz, I disagree that Newcastle need like a pragmatic manager. I get where you're coming from, because survival is key. Like all of this falls down if they get relegated, because it
doesn't fall down. It just delays the process.
Yeah, and look back.
And don't get me wrong, Newcastle are the most patient fan base in the world, but they must be itching now, because now that they know that they've got the richest people in the world behind them, they don't. The last thing they would want, Tobs, is to go back and then just start again from the Championship. That's why I'm thinking that way.
Another person who would have been Ranieri, that he would have been perfect again.
Absolutely.
See what I mean? This takeover has come. I mean, it's come 7 years too late, but at this point, it's actually come like 2 days too late. And I know that sounds insane, but like this just could have been all done and dusted. And like probably Ranieri would have just come in quite easily in the last
How's
few
this
days.
for a shout? How's this for a shout, Avi? From Krishna Agarwal, he says Manuel Pellegrini.
I think Pellegrini's at Villarreal though, but yeah, he would be a good shout.
No, he's not at Villarreal.
Is he not?
Unai Emery's at
Villarreal.
Unai Emery, sorry, yeah. So Pellegrini, he took over Pellegrini, but don't put Gaultier up there, Grizz, because he's at Nice, and that's my second team this season. So no talk of Gaultier.
I didn't mention. I just put it up to just
Pellegrini could be, but maybe even entice.
Didn't he sell all their players though?
Who did?
Nice.
Did he sell what?
They sold some of their players. Didn't they sell like a lot of their players? Nice.
No, Lille.
Lille. Sorry.
Nice spent,
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Nice. Yeah, Nice.
Yeah.
I'm getting it confused. Lille sold some of their players.
I tell you who could be Joachim Low as well, because he's no longer German manager, Grizz. He could be an option. Even maybe entice Didier Deschamps from the France job.
Nah, man. Don't get Deschamps. Don't get Deschamps.
We say this, but as Kendall says, they're going to want a name. Like, honestly, they will want a name. I'm not sure about the first appointment, but I think the first appointment could be key. Like, we know they're not going to just make one appointment, coach, project manager for 5 years, right? I don't think it's going to work out like that because of the situation they're in, people. If they were in like mid-table and comfortable, then I could have seen a project manager come in that he's going to have 5 years, 4 or 5 years. He's going to be back to the hilt like we've never seen before, like ever. I just think because of their precarious situation, I think it's a tricky appointment. I don't know what you guys think.
They won't be short of offers though, Grizz. They will have a lot of managers with their resumes ready to say, look, we will take this challenge. We want to take this project because it is an exciting project. If you know that you're going to have a certain amount of funds in January and in summer, and obviously a year, 2, 3 years down the line, if it's a 3-year project, there will be a lot of managers who, like someone said, Roberto Martinez for Belgium. You know, there will be a lot of managers, a few managers who will be ready to take that challenge. And I don't think it's a scary job or it's a job that, you know, you should be fearful for.
No, nothing like that.
And with the right people behind you, like Amanda Stay, because she's very smart, they will make the right appointment. You just feel that, you know, they will get it right.
But these people, as we alluded to, are very, very smart and clever, and especially the woman behind it, Amanda Steverley. Tobs, surely they've got someone in mind and they've got already some people in mind, and probably conversations have already taken place. Or 100. do you think they're gonna come in, relax, assess situation, maybe he gets a stay of execution for, I don't know, a month?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make any. I'll be shocked if he gets, like, I know they're reporting it in the news, but I'll be shocked if he gets sacked like this weekend and stuff. But that being said, Kendall made a good point around this being the best opportunity to get rid of an international break, get the new manager to come in, get the his initial ideas on board and work with some of the players. So if there was ever a moment, it would be now, or at least the November international break in a couple of weeks as well. But I do think that they must have a plan. Like, they wouldn't have taken over Newcastle to just come in and for a jolly up. I think the only thing that might have impacted them is the time in which it was done, because they wanted to take over the club months ago, and maybe at the time there were
years,
managers,
apparently
they were eyeing up. Now it's like they may have to be a bit more patient, but there's always a plan. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't just buy a club and like, oh yeah, we'll just wing it. Like, there's a plan in place, and it's just about when they execute their plan. So it could be this week, it could be next week, it could be a couple months, but we know something's coming.
Grizz, will you be posting your CV to Amanda in the coming week or so for a job appointment? Are you in the running?
If you notice, I said they will need someone pragmatic, and they will need someone who's got experience of keeping teams up. I'm the other end of the spectrum. You get me? So
Big Phil Scolari.
Yeah. El Nino. We finished in the top 4 for the 3 seasons that I was there in the Dagenham and Redbridge League.
Yeah.
And we played. We were known for fast, expansive, explosive football. So no, I shall not be giving my CV. But Shaka says, and thank you for the super chat, he says, get Pep, he loves sugar daddies who splurge on him. Do you know what? You never know, man. Pep Guardiola is known to do mad things. And when he's in his last, no, he extended, didn't he? He extended a contract. But listen, it's exciting times, man. I'm well happy for you. I think we all are. I think we all are at the moment, because, you know, Newcastle are not.
You all are, because you're not a threat at the moment, Kendall. He's trying to say you're not a threat at the moment, but once you're a threat, that's
it's true. But that's how tribalism works, right?
Yeah, you're being right though. We're not a threat at the moment. We're really not. We are a non-threatening threat currently, if that makes sense. Because in the future, we're going to be a threat, more than likely. But at this current time, we are not in an active threat, if you will.
Exactly. At the moment, at the moment, to everyone in the footballing world, especially the Premier League. It's exciting. It's wow. This is Hollywood stuff. Like,
I think if you like football, you're excited. I think if you're just one of these modern football fans who just trophies, medals, whatever, like I think you're like, oh God, like this is so bad. This is the worst day of my life. But I think if you actually like football and you like the competitive nature of the Premier League, which is meant to be the most competitive league in the world, I think you actually think it's a good thing. And I've noticed, actually, funnily enough, the fans of teams like Chelsea, Man City, for example, have been the ones who are like, oh, I'm really glad for you. Then Arsenal fans have been like, oh my God, you these owners are horrendous. I can't believe you're selling your soul out for these owners. I'm like,
the hypocrisy is blind.
Hypocrisy. Oh no. We know some of the chat.
Oh,
we know
God.
some of the chat around the hypocrisy and the arguments. And I think we've done very well not to get into them. Because we're just simply not qualified to talk about such issues. We, or me especially, I'll speak for myself. I might not speak for everyone else, but me, as just a fan, a normal fan, who happens to have a wonderful and amazing platform, thankful to the LFC Daytrippers, that I'm just not qualified to speak about some of the topics that people raise and everything. So when you don't know about something, in my opinion, it's best to stay away from it rather than make it worse and get into it too deep.
Should we talk about stuff we do know, though?
I was going to say, let's get onto stuff that we do know, and we were going to talk about. Well, go on. What were you going to suggest?
I was going to talk about like how they overcame that problem, because I actually read into this extensively a couple months back, and I found out like one of the main blockers was because of that piracy.
Bein Sports.
Yeah, piracy business as well. Like obviously Saudi were banning any sort of Qatari like products, and obviously Bein Sports are like the only Premier League broadcaster in the Middle East as well. So the people who wanted to watch Premier League in Saudi Arabia, they were using this weird thing called what do they call it? Butte Q.
BLQ,
yeah. So I was really shocked at how quickly like they resolved that, because I thought that was like a long-standing issue for years. So honestly, Grizz, money talks, man.
It does. That's why I said.
As well, like the court case was last week, like the preliminary arbitration in terms of like if Mike Ashley had a case against the Premier League. And I personally, I'm not in any way legally inclined, but from what I read and what I saw, because I watched the whole case for the whole day because it was live streamed, 33,000 people watched it.
Wow.
I think that has not ended well for them. So I think they've said, if you can resolve this piracy issue, like whatever, then let's talk, because it's happened that quickly. I just cannot see there not being a prior discourse to this last few days, because how in 24 hours have you just suddenly turned around and said, you know what, we'll accept it now? Yeah. I just can't see that happening. So I think that's what's happened there. I think that case has ended badly for them. They've thought, you know what, actually this might go badly for us in court when it gets there, so let's just resolve it now, which is really one of the main aims of the court case, was to put pressure on them, and it has, and it's happened. So shout out Nick DeMarco, man.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I think we've covered it as much as Liverpool fans would let me cover it on a Liverpool channel. I think we've given it fair justice, fair dues. But listen, good luck to Newcastle. Have fun, enjoy it, man. But Avi,
yeah,
obviously Newcastle don't sort of get into the picture of title talk already. But let's go on to the title talk, and let's go on to the Premier League so far. We're at game week 7, international break. 7 games. What is that? Is that just a fifth? Just under a fifth of the season. All right, my maths. Tell me I'm right.
Yeah, no, you're speaking to the wrong person with maths. No, I'm not gonna.
No, just over a fifth.
Yeah, 5 sevens is 35, isn't it? So
yeah, so just
so
under a fifth or over a fifth?
38 games a season.
Yeah.
So
just halfway along. We can just say.
Yeah.
Halfway. How's it?
No, a fifth of the way, like just.
Laura Duffy, 18% on the way.
Laura Duffy always to the rescue. Yeah. Oh, Laura, you're the bestest in the world after Avi. 18%. She always gets it.
Yeah, so just under a fifth. That's right. Yeah.
Where are we at with our teams? Avi, Liverpool. Where are we at? Are you happy with Liverpool where we are? in terms of squad injuries, situation, general mood around the camp?
Think
What do you
with
think?
just a little bit, maybe 4 points off. I thought we should have beaten Brentford and then should have beaten a 10-man Chelsea. Chelsea were resolute in that game. Okay, squad wise, the biggest hit was Elliott. I thought it was telling against Brentford that we're missing Thiago. Against City, I thought we're missing Thiago big time. But so far, Grizz, we can't really complain. 1 point off the top. Chelsea, there was always this talk of Chelsea going to, run away with it. City will be with them. But, we're making a fist of it, and we will be making a fist of it. And we'll be there or thereabouts come April, May. So, no, so far, so good, Grizz. Honestly, that's all I can say. Maybe a player or even two, if we're lucky, in Jan would be nice, considering we've got the AFCON. But no, at the moment, I'm happy. Just praying that everyone comes back from internationals fit and firing, and Thiago comes back into training as well.
Toby, two-part question to you. First, chat about your club. Tell me how you feel, how it started, how you feel now, new manager bounce, etc., etc. And then just give me your thoughts on how you see the Premier League race.
So thoughts on my club before the season started, wasn't optimistic. It was just a whatever season. Like I'm not expecting anything from this season. I don't think we're going to win anything. I don't think we're going to challenge for top four. And 7 games in, my opinion hasn't changed. I've not really seen anything to convince me this team are going to be better than what I imagined them to be this season. So that's me on Spurs. Nothing against the manager. It's just I was
going to say, didn't he excite you? Like, when you get a new manager, you didn't feel it. Give him a chance.
He was the 8th choice, wasn't he, Grizz?
No, didn't excite me at all. Didn't excite
me. Is it because, like Avi says, he was your 8th choice?
It's not even because of that. Honestly, I have nothing against the guy. I think he's a really nice guy, and I think, as I said, I think he has qualities. Like, he's not a bad coach in the slightest. So when people talk about him, like he's
my older brother, so be careful what you say.
Yeah, when people talk about him like he's a schmuck, I don't agree with that because he knows his football, but at the same time, it's so obvious that he's not the manager that we need. Like it's painfully obvious to everyone, apart from a certain few Spurs fans, and that's fine. They want to support him, but I'll just be honest wherever I can be. But that's me on Spurs.
Tobs, are you in the camp that you would have sold Kane for like 140, 50 if it meant reinvesting back in the squad?
Don't start him on this.
I would have sold for
150. I don't know.
I would have sold for 150. Yeah, you can check my tweet till summer. 150 was a fair valuation for Harry Kane. You want him, the player wants to leave. Let's make a deal that works for all parties. What I couldn't get on board with was selling this guy for 100 million, the same price that Grealish went for. Not going to happen for me, no. But yeah, that's where I feel on Spurs. On the title race, we spoke about this before, Grizz. Genuinely, I still think Man City edge it, but it's anyone's money. Like if Liverpool can keep their core group fit for the whole season, they will push Man City for the title. If Chelsea or United can raise the levels, they can put pressure. But do I really see Chelsea winning it? No. Do I see Man United really winning it? No. Can I see Liverpool winning it if they keep everyone fit? Maybe. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, I don't think there's much in it between the top 4 sides in the league this year, which is why I think this title race is gonna be really, really good. I think we're gonna see probably the best title race that we've seen in years.
I agree with you, Kendall. How do you see it? How do you think? What did you think at the start of the season and 7 games in? Has anything sort of changed your mind? You thought, maybe this didn't what I wasn't expecting, or is it going to according to what you thought?
It's probably gone similarly to what I thought. Obviously, there's shocks there, like Everton, Brighton, they've been the shocks. I thought Aston Villa would start out super, super strong because originally I thought that because they had like recruited quite well, but then I thought to myself, actually, they're going to have to get used to not being dependable on Jack Grealish because they signed 3 players to cover everything he did. So they're going to take a little bit of time to rebuild again. But yeah, I said Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Man City. That was my top 4, and I still think that's probably there.
In that order?
No, not in that order. That was just my top 4.
Give us your order.
Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United.
Okay.
Only because,
and the next 2?
Again, I think Liverpool started out so well, but again, it's just very similar in terms of you've got a really, really strong starting 11 and maybe 3 really strong squad depth. And then beyond that, I think compared to the likes of Chelsea and City, I think that's where, I mean, you might disagree. This is just my opinion. Like, I think that's where you maybe struggle on that level there. So if you get, again, if Harvey Elliott is out now, if you get, hopefully, God touch wood, you don't. If you get another major injury, that could just again set you on a decline, which I hope it doesn't, but it just could. I think I thought Man City were going to regret not signing a striker. I thought Harry Kane was pretty much a done deal at that point. It's looking now, maybe they won't, but I still think it's going to come and bite them on the backside at certain points in the season, like specifically Champions League and things like that. So, yeah, it's looking very juicy, very, very juicy. You know, we're just going to come and add to that in the next few years.
Exactly, yeah. You'll be sitting with us at the big tables very soon.
To even get top 4, I think.
How about the other way around, Avi? Bottom of the table. How's it looking? Have you got the?
Yeah,
the
so Norwich look as if they're.
I think we all had Norwich. Yeah, I think we all had Norwich down, right?
I think they're gone, and obviously Newcastle will be safe. I've got no doubt about that. And then
will they? Have you got no doubt about that?
I think they will, Grizz. They'll just have a little bit of enough, and if they can get into January, sort of, 16th, 15th, they'll spend money. Grizz. They will.
And I think even if they didn't spend money, I think Newcastle, annoyingly, they showed last season that even when they're not the greatest side, they have players who can bail them out, man. They have Callum Wilson, who's if you keep him fit, he's good.
But again, is he not key? Exactly.
Yeah, but even still, he hit double figures last season. Good player. And he missed a couple games for them as well.
Yeah, he had a couple of spells where he missed like 6 games in a row a couple of times. So
exactly. ASM looks like he's getting better this season.
Consistent now, yeah.
And he has his injury knocks as well, but he can win them a game as well. So that's the annoying edge that they have over some of the bottom teams there. Like, they actually have match winners, and it pisses me off because I've wanted Newcastle down for time, man.
Where are we with this then? Ross Chanley says, please be the season Burnley go down. We've all had enough.
We all agree.
Everyone literally hates Burnley. I don't
actually hate them.
I hate their football. Hate their football. Hate everything they represent. Even as City, I think it's a shithole. Honestly, I hate it. No, I'm sorry, Grizz. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry to me, mate.
You can give me a ban. I just absolutely hate.
Worry about your hate mail that you're gonna get now, mate.
I've only got 200 followers, so yeah, I welcome all the hate I'll get. But no, listen, Burnley need to. I just, you know what? They picked up some fair play award or something. It was a silly award they just picked up last week, and I'm thinking that they've not had red cards. I think in the last sort of 40 games, something silly. I think Laura Duffy will correct me, but it was a silly award that they won. But no, I just hate everything that,
Do you know what? I was thinking, is
like, who names the stadium Turf Moor? Who names the stadium Turf Moor? Like what? Like,
I was just thinking, is this Ross, like my mate Ross from the Redmen TV, and I wasn't sure if it's a fake account, but he just WhatsApped me. And that is this message. Ross, we're all with you, mate. We all want Burnley to go down.
Shout out, Ross, man. I love
absolutely.
Ross.
Shout out, Ross. But so, look, I think it's fairly obvious that Norwich, we've all come to an agreement that, they're a done deal, right?
Yeah.
Who else? What else is going on?
I think Watford one was a surprise one because they got rid of Isco. And I don't know why. Maybe that he's flirting with another big club because he's a up-and-coming manager. And then now they've got Ranieri. Ranieri should see them safe, but there's a few clubs there. Southampton, Leeds. Teams have maybe figured Leeds out. The energy, Wolves. I think Bruno Lage will get them up there. I think Kendall with Wolves, they're playing good football. If they were playing bad and like pragmatic football and very ugly football, then I would see, maybe they'll go down. But they're playing good football, and Raul Jimenez is coming back on form. They got Hwang, who's a top player. Who scored, I think, 3 and 2 as well. Yeah,
he's really good.
I think they will have just enough.
So then, are we struggling? Are we struggling to name the other two then, people? Because I think we're kind of bigging up everyone.
Watford are going down. I'm not getting.
Really?
I'm not getting. Yeah, I think they're going down. I'm not getting.
Ismail Assar, brother.
See,
I like him.
Before today, I would have said we were one of the 3. But country mile, I would have said we were one of the 3. Literally, I probably would have said 95% sure we were one of the 3 because we've played the run we've had since the beginning of the season has been, if you look at that as a club, right, even like as a Newcastle, you think, okay, we're going to pick points up from some of these games. Watford, Wolves, West Ham, Burnley, Southampton. Like them games, you would think that it was gonna go swing either way. It didn't. So then I was thinking to myself, I literally don't know where our 3 points are gonna come from unless it's against Norwich. So then I was like, I was sure that it was gonna be us. But now I'm kind of like, well, there's just no way you would buy a club and be the richest club in the world to get relegated. There's no way. There's just no way you're letting that happen.
Oh, that would be some. That would be.
I hope this doesn't get clipped up. I hope this doesn't get clipped up for Kendall's.
Oh, imagine it does. Like, that's up to them, isn't it? Stupid idiots.
So go on and choose us your 3 to go down. Kendall, we start off with you.
Obviously, Norwich, we've established that. I think Ranieri might just keep Watford up. But again, I don't think their squad's overly great, so they could slip in there. Burnley, Watford, Norwich.
Avi?
I'm going to go with Norwich, Burnley, 100%.
100%, you know.
Everyone's just hoping that. That's like wishful thinking.
I'm going to go with Southampton.
Oh,
they haven't spent money, and I don't think they're gonna give him any money in January. So it's gonna be a tough season for Hasenhüttl. So losing Ings as well, that goal scoring threat's gone. I know they got Armando Borja, who's a good player from Chelsea on loan, but I just feel this could be the season where Southampton go back to.
Wait, hold on. Rewind, selector. I know you always like to put in a name there that you can pronounce and show off. Say
Armando Borja. There you go. He's Albanian. So I don't, if there's some Albanians in the comments, they can correct me later on. But
they will always correct you because you've never said anything right, even though you pretend you're a fucking expert. Tobs, who's going down?
Norwich definitely. Ranieri, I don't really know what type of job people think he's gonna come here and do.
The Tinkerman, Tobs. The Tinkerman.
No, he is the Tinkerman, but like, how is he gonna beat the drop? There are better teams than Watford in this league, even with Ranieri. So I don't think he's going to save them. And I think he's going to be the next head on a stick when the Pozzos do what they do best and sack a manager. So Watford are going down. And then I think the third spot is between Burnley and Southampton, man. I agree with everything Abby said about Southampton. I think they sold some big players this summer and didn't replace adequately. And I was just expecting Ralph's magic to just carry this team. And I feel like it's a bit unfair on him. And then Burnley are Burnley, man. They have the know-how to stay up in this league, but it's just like, how many more years can they get by on just know-how when they flirt with relegation as much as they have done in the past 2 seasons? So I think they're definitely odds on to go down.
Interesting. Burnley were worrying, right, when they signed Maxwell Cornet, because that is the most unlikely Burnley signing.
Yeah. Do you think that was a panic? Right? Do you think that was a panic?
I think they thought,
for many reasons.
Our like system's not working this time. Like we're concerned. Let's just go for something we don't normally go for and go for Maxwell Cornet. And then I think that they've panicked and thought that's what they were going to do because Maxwell Cornet, that just makes no sense at all. Like,
he's got to be like the only black senior player on the team, surely.
Yeah.
He is.
Aaron
Lennon's there, I think, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
No, I think did he not retire?
Nah, he might retire.
I think he's there. I'm sure he is. I don't know.
Well, it's good. It's good you mentioned Maxwell Cornet because the final segment was.
No, who's your 3? No, before you move on, who's your 3? Because you always do this. Like, you can't stay away from your 3.
Skirting responsibility.
Yeah, hang them out for dry now. Go and give us your 3.
You know, I like to think about these things. You look.
No, it's not a fluid situation, Grizz. It's not a fluid situation. 7 games in, you don't need to be fluid.
I'm the host. You lot gave trigger happy answers. That's your problem. I like to think about it, analyze, look at the table, look at the next set of fixtures. You know what I mean? What did Twitter Spaces, the official account, say about me?
Football expert.
Thank you very much. So football experts don't just, you know what I mean, trigger happy like live and get clipped up, Toby. You know I don't get clipped. But listen, we're gonna go into transfers and look. We talk about Maxwell Cornet, which was a weird transfer. Shall we start from the top? Like, what do we make of the most expensive transfer in the Premier League, which was Jack Grealish? Yeah. How do you think he's done, Kendall, so far? Has he been sort of? I know it's difficult. It's only 7 games, but how do you see that transfer success rate kind of thing?
Yeah, I think he's made an impact already for me. He draws players out for fouls a lot, which like Man City didn't have that in their team before, like someone who directly does that. I think he's looked more creative. He's looked more direct since he's been in that squad, and it's only a short amount of time. But yeah, I think Jack Grealish was always going to flourish and improve under Pep. So yeah, he's done well for me. I think his ceiling isn't even. I don't even think it's there yet. We can't even see it yet. So yeah, I think
out of 10,
that's pretty good.
Out of 10,
I would say right now for his impact, probably a 7. I'm gonna go very okay 7 because I don't think it's enough time now to like say how much he's actually done. It might just be a new team situation, but yeah, I think good 7.
Avi?
Yeah,
out of 10.
Yeah, I think he's been. I had a conversation with Connor on Friday's show last week. I think Jack Grealish is coming along nicely. He went a bit missing against us on Sunday, but apart from that, 7 out of 10. And there's a lot more to come. He's 25 years old. Once Pep gets really into his head, then you're going to see a proper player. But yeah, no, 7 out of 10 for me.
Tobs, I don't know if you're going to back me on this or you're going to go with the crowd. I think they've been a bit generous, Kendall and Avi, about Jack Grealish. What do you think?
I think so too. I think it's obvious what quality he brings, and I think he has had some good games for Man City, but he was anonymous for the most part against Liverpool. He was anonymous for the most part against PSG. Chelsea, I felt like in the first half he was anonymous. Second half, I think he really came to the party, and I think he really affected the game for Man City. And Jack Grealish, in a nutshell, so far tells me everything I knew about him. He's going to make Man City better, and he's a quality player, but he wasn't a player that they needed. He wasn't a player that they needed. So it was just one of those things where it's like, you're one of the best players in the league. We're the best team in the league. We want to make sure we're the best team in the league, and we're going to sign you, and you're going to be our mainstay for the next couple of years, which is fine. But I think there's still more to come from Jack Grealish. So if it's me rating him, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 max.
We're going to the next most expensive one, which is Jadon Sancho.
Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. Okay, thank you very much, Avi. Start off with you then.
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, Avi. Romelu Lukaku, talk to me.
He's been okay. Nothing great so far. Certainly not the Inter striker that we've been accustomed to in the last 18 months. But 6 out of 10 for me, Grizz. 6 out of 10. Nothing great yet. I think there's a lot more to come from him. A lot more.
Toby, I think you disagree again.
I think he's been okay as well. I think he's been, like a 6 out of 10. He's had some games where he's bailed him out, but I think no goal in his last 4 or 5 games. I know that the team have not been playing positively in some of these matches, but I mean, these are the type of games where you expect a 98 million pound player to show a bit more authority. I felt he was handled by Liverpool. I felt he wasn't really a threat in the game against us until the game opened up in the latter stages in the second half. There's more to come from Lukaku, no doubt, but I'm yet to see the 98 million pound player.
Kendall?
Yeah, literally completely agree. I thought, like, his first 2 games, I was like, man, that's it. He's just going to put his stamp on the league. He's back. Like, I think probably everyone thought that. And since that point, I'm just like, for God's sake, FPL, man. I'm sick of FPL this season. I don't know on top about, honestly, like, actually tired of it. 4 points at the weekend. I was like, oh, go away, man. But yeah, just being very, what I mean, like, just ticking along, in the words of Steve Bruce. He's just ticking along. I think he'll be fine. It'll just take him a while to get used to the Premier League again, I think, because it's just so different.
And the last one we're going to touch about the expensive transfers, Jadon Sancho. Start off with you, Avi, again. Jadon Sancho, how's he done? What's he done?
But look, you know what it is? We can use all the words, and obviously he plays for United and he plays for them, and we hate them and whatnot. But I don't want to be too down on the kid. He's 19, coming to the Premiership, where he's had a good 2 years in Germany, 2.5 years. So look, I don't want to say, like, I hope this trend continues, because he is a top player. You just hope that he does find his form soon. Under the wrong management, you could say maybe. I mean, who really flourishes under Oli, maybe apart from Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, I think it's just going to take him time. I think he's still adjusting to the pace of it as well. He doesn't look, he's missing that little bit of zip, that little bit of yard ahead. So I think that will come with more game time. Or yeah, maybe after January, you might see the best of him. Because I remember last season, he started a little bit late as well for Dortmund. And then he started to put up the numbers.
Tobs.
Yeah, my turn, yeah, I love Jaden, and I know he's going to bounce back, but I have to be honest, he's been terrible. I've seen him. Everton was the best performance I've seen from him this season, and he was only on the pitch for 25 minutes. That's the brightest I've seen him in terms of trying to like commit defenders and trying to weave his magic, because he is a top draw player. Like for me, I think when he was coming to Man United, I said for me he's my best young English player. Like he's my favorite. I think he's like 20, 21 years old. He's quality, man, and I think he's gonna bounce back. But I have to be honest, he's been terrible so far this season. Terrible.
Are you gonna give him a rating out of 10?
Oh shit, yeah. I'm gonna give him a 3 out of 10. I think he's been poor.
I don't think Kendall. By the way, she was nodding in agreement. I don't know if you want to add something to that. Or
I just think with Jadon Sancho, he's got so much talent. And when he was in the Dortmund team, the team was so balanced and well drilled that he was like not the talisman in terms of like a striker, but he was a creative outlet, and his vision was very like cooperative with the whole team, like systematic football. Like this is what he does. Individual brilliance came into it a little bit. But with Man United, Ronaldo they signed. There's Greenwood. Obviously, I know Rashford's injured. There's Bruno Fernandes. There's like Pogba. Like there's other outlets, attacking outlets, where he's maybe getting lost in it a little bit, because there's other. Like I feel like if Man United's plan A fails, like plan B, there isn't one. Like that's just how I see them. So I think that's maybe like where he's getting a little bit lost in terms of what his role is. And I think as soon as he finds out, as soon as like it figures it out, and he's so talented and he's still so young, like he'll make it regardless. But I just think as of now, I don't know if he really knows his role in that team. So yeah, I think 3 out of 10 as well for me.
What have you made of Sancho, Grizz? What have you made of Sancho?
Well, listen, it's not about my opinion on this show. It's all about your guys' opinions. It's all about your guys. Listen, very quickly, I want to go around and I want you to give me the transfer hit in your opinion of the season and the transfer flop in your opinion. So, who wants to go first? Give me something that you've been a transfer success. Help them out in the comments, because by the looks on their faces, they're struggling now. All right.
No, I'll go first. Flop of the season has definitely been Sancho.
So far, okay.
Signing
of the season, Andros Townsend of Everton.
Yeah, Andros or Damari.
Yeah,
but even them, I need to see it sustained.
Totally agreed.
I need to see it sustained. But yeah, if we're going off the
Edouard, Crystal Palace as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
A few substitutions. Yeah, he's done okay.
He's made a few sub appearances.
I don't think he signed of the season by any chance, but I think he was such a needed signing for them.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
It's going to end up being a good one for them, I think.
Dan Bailey put another one, which is definitely in the top 3. Cucurella of Brighton.
Yeah,
what a
left back.
Sensational.
Toby, thoughts on this one?
Tomiyasu's looked good. I like him. I like Tomiyasu. He had a top game against Brighton.
He's looked really good.
Yeah, people are saying Leon Bailey after his performance.
Not yet.
Exactly. We didn't touch upon this. Maybe we should have cussed him a bit more, because
I forgot about Varane.
Exactly.
I don't think he's been bad though. I don't think Varane's been bad. He hasn't had the impact that they've expected to have, like Diaz or a Virgil van Dijk.
But he's carrying Slabhead. He's carrying a bloody hammer right next to him.
Yeah, for the most part, I've watched Varane. He's been sound. Like he's not maybe one time. Like Varane, he is clumsy at times and makes the odd mistake. But I think for the most part, he's been good for Man United this season.
Okay, fair enough. I think there is a few shouts in there.
I've just thought about a flop as well. I know he's only a loan signing, but Saul as well at Chelsea.
Us Liverpool fans want to hear that again and again. I've watched
Saul for years and years and years and years, and I just I told this to everyone. I said, stop getting on the hype train so quickly because he's a fantastic player, but I don't know if he's a Premier League player. Like his physicality is just for the Premier League is just. I don't think it would have been good. He's a lot more like technically minded as a midfielder because he's played all over midfield. And I look at him and I just think, oh God, everyone's jumping on his back and like Tuchel drew him out and basically said, oh, I shouldn't have started him when I did. And I was like, oh, this is just going to go badly. So yeah, he's definitely.
Here's a good shout from Hamid Habib Kamran.
Liverpool has been good,
He's been
really
absolutely. But listen, as we said, it's early. I think some of you have been really harsh, but listen, it's good. It's good to be harsh. I think some of you have been a bit over praiseworthy in some players, but listen, who am I to judge? Do you know what I mean? It's your opinion. It's your opinion.
He doesn't say anything himself.
But listen, I think we've come to an end of a magnificent show. I really, really enjoyed chatting to all of you, man. I got to thank Kendall. I know you took out time from being interviewed from BBC to BN Sports. You know what I mean?
He's not going to let this go, Kendall.
Do you know what I mean? So thank you very much for making your debut, and hopefully we'll get you much more on now as well. Not that we're glory hunters. Not that we're glory. Not that we're.
Now because
we're humble. We're humble.
No one cared about us, and I was suffering under
from humble beginnings.
I know that was so bad. I take all that back. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah,
listen, Kendall, absolutely. You can co-host now on Thursdays. I'm out. I'm dropping the mic and going.
Thank you very much again, Kendall, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. And Tobs, look. I've never seen you smile and be so happy because we didn't have to.
Chris, I'm a smiley person,
We didn't have to talk about your club. We didn't give you the 44-minute clap.
Thank
what I mean? Like, what I mean? You didn't have none of that. So you could have just relaxed and chill out on this channel. But I appreciate that, man. Nice one, bro.
No problem, man. No problem.
Avi, what's happening? What's happening tomorrow? What's happening over the weekend? What's the plans?
So tomorrow we've got Sports Unplugged. We'll be going through Fury versus Wilder. We'll touch upon Newcastle's takeover and a few football, international footballers, covering a little bit of that. And then we've got a potential watch along Fury versus Wilder. It'll be early for me, but 4 or 5 in the morning for you Brits. That will be on Grizz TV. So it's his first. We're going to do like a little dress rehearsal before the actual shows go on live on his channel. So it will be Fury versus Wilder. So we're going to do the pleasure talking to you, Kendall. Thanks for coming on. And then Toby, I know we speak on Spaces. We've spoken a few times, so great to be with you on tonight's show. And then Grizz, big man, big dog. Pleasure as always.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm looking forward to that. I might even
tune in.
I might even make an appearance on my own channel.
Grizz, sorry, before I haven't mentioned it. USA versus Jamaica at 4:30. So come on the American 4:30 p.m. today in the soccer qualification.
Shut up, man. He always manages to mention the USA football team somehow on every channel. But listen, it's been a fantastic show. Yes, people, don't forget to go and subscribe to Grizz TV. No, I'm not gonna be leaving the Trippers. Trippers can't get rid of me. I love the Trippers. I'm still here, but that's gonna be extra content for you guys. So go and check that out. Give it a subscribe. Put your notification bell on because we have got Fury and Wilder live watch along, and mine and Avi's watch alongs are something special. But listen, this has been a fantastic show. We've tried to look into the Newcastle takeover, how we see the Premier League so far. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll probably, next week is Khanage because we've got Watford coming up. There'll be a preview to Watford. Hopefully I've got Jakey from Watford TV coming on. That should be good. Until then, love and peace and blessings to you all. Thank you very much.